Hello guys, sorry for the lack of videos in the past few days. I've been busy with real life, but yeah, nobody really cares about that. So let's get to business. Alright, so same group that I've been pushing like a few keys with lately. So I guess exception to like what I normally do is these aren't really pugs. So things are a little bit more organized. That being said, you know, does not really change much. We're gonna be talking about Necrotic Wake 21 on the previous week, which was Tyrannical, Bursting, Volcanic, Tormented. Well, Tormented being the seasonal affix, of course, but yeah, interesting. Tyrannical week, really. I'll get into it when we get to bosses, and I'll talk a little bit about it later overall, as I have in the previous videos. But two big ones are Volcanic and Bursting. Now, Volcanic obviously is not really an issue, but it's one of those kind of similar to, I don't know, like storming or quaking. Like with certain overlaps and certain situations, they can cause you a lot of issues and they can be really annoying, so you just gotta be aware of them. Maybe get a weak aura that like presents a timer or something. I don't know if there's any good ones. I don't personally use a weak aura for Volcanic. I do recommend getting as much weak auras and as much add-ons as you can though for these weekly affixes, as they do help because they make you not have to think about them and rather focus on your gameplay. Alright, so in this week one of our main duties is going to be simply dispelling Bursting, which luckily we are perfect healer this week for with our Mass Dispel. As far as I know, the only healer that can do that, right? Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not really sure if... I know for a fact that shamans and paladins can do it, but I'm not sure about... and druids, but I'm not sure about Mistweaver, so if somebody like... I'm not... I mean, I play a Mistweaver, but he's not even level 60 yet, so... I really don't know what's going on there, so maybe they have something similar to Mass Dispel, but in terms of healers, we're the only healer that can do that. The only other solution you would have for this week, if you do not play with a Discipline Priest healer, would be to bring a Shadow Priest in your group, which to be fair isn't the worst. Shadow Priests are pretty neat, but yeah. Alright, so we were trying to get this guy to die to Cleaver dude, which is a pretty good way to save some time. We have opened up, yeah, and this was just sloppy, honestly. Sloppy from us overall, like pretty bad positioning on everybody, and like a pretty chaotic pull overall. But we actually managed to pull it off quite decently, and then proceeded to grab the power. You know, nowadays people usually go left because these guys are positioned here, so you just go grab the power and then proceed. You don't have to do that. You can also kill boss, because as far as I know, these powers don't really help immensely. Actually they do. No, this is yeah, Necrotic one. No, this is yeah, you probably should grab this power, to be fair. I don't really know that much from DPS perspective. For healer like mana, and for most healers it's not that big of a deal. As a Disc Priest, we do actually value this ability quite a lot, to just have these mana balls pop up everywhere and just kind of like grab them. You know, grabbing balls, your standard Saturday night. I mean what? Grabbing the mana balls, of course, yes. And they're like a nice little torrent stun, you know. I'm here, like you might notice I'm not really using anything. You might be wondering, oh, this guy's bad, like why is he not using anything? And I mean, the reason is probably obvious, but I'm gonna say just in case, it's because we're heading into a boss fight, and I would rather save my CDs for the boss, because to be honest, I was expecting that we're gonna do like a really big pull here, because this is a Tyrannical week, and on Tyrannical week, on the first boss, what you can do is you can pick up these extra mobs around the boss and pull them into boss and use these Kyrian orbs to just melt them passively, and it works beautifully, and it's free. It is literally free. There's very little that can go wrong, and it might look scary, but it really isn't. It's a little bit extra pressure on healer, but that's about it. Yeah, other than that, of course, kill worms. We get a nice little AoE stun on the worms there, and just like DPS it down. You as a Discipline Priest, two things you can do is you can fear them, if they go on you, which I do recommend, because you don't want to be allowing them to do hits, because if they do hits they grow and they start dealing more damage and eventually explode if they do enough hits. And another thing they also do is you can do is also knock them back, which is very useful actually. It is very useful to knock them back. That is a very useful thing in my opinion, and I might do it here. Yep, there you go. You see how simple that is. Just knock them back, they don't get hits anymore, and then they will just die due to cleave. Other than that, really not much to say about this boss. It's kind of like a tank and spank boss. Of course, when the throw up goes on somebody, just dispel them. Avoid getting hit on multiple people. Other than that, just DPS. By the way, I just want to say I really don't like the fact that we have just killed the boss here. We should have pulled the pack into this. Even Chain pulled 2 packs into this, in my opinion. But I will say that if you want to play it safe, this dungeon will prove to you that you can also do that and still time even at 21. Of course. I mean, I say even at 21 like it's, you know, something crazy amazing. I mean, for me it is. I know there are people out there pushing more. I am aware, you know. But considering our composition, considering that I'm also a non-meta healer, considering, you know, taking everything into consideration, I think we're doing a pretty good job, and I hope that some people will find these videos educational and entertaining, as always. That is the only thing I'm really hoping for, nothing else. Alright, so here a little bit of a tricky situation. We pulled pretty late, and the reason why this is a bad pull and not the start, I'll explain, is because you guys probably, most of you already know this. It is pretty logical, but just in case somebody does not know, I will tell you. Oh god, I sound like some commercials now. Like it's like I'm about to say it, guys. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna tell you any minute now. I'm telling you guys. I'm gonna tell you why it's good. Don't worry, guys. I'm telling you why it's good any second now. But yo, no, jokes aside, the reason why it's good is because when you have those Kyrian orbs, they are AoE abilities, they're not single target abilities, so you really want to use them as an AoE abilities. They just passively go and they deal, I believe that is arcane damage, I'm not sure, it doesn't matter anyway, it is just like an AoE bursts of damage, like bzz, 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 just AoE area damage around the whole thing, and it is very good to do big pulls into that. That is why on Fortified you want to use that for packs, and on Tyrannical of course you want to use it for the boss, but I think both on Fortified and on Tyrannical you can pull the packs into that while you have the orbs, and you will be able to deal with it for sure. And here for some reason we missed an orb. Oh no, they went back to pick it, okay. I did that on the previous 20 we timed, now somebody else did it, you know. We're just making same mistakes, but we're rotating, you know. So one person doesn't feel bad, you know, somebody else also has to make a mistake so that it looks a little bit better. But no, you can see, like, look at my damage, guys, like, look at this. 12k on this pack, that's not me, that's the orb. Just to get a perspective on how strong the orb is. I mean, yeah, sure, I popped Boon, and I popped Shadowfiend as well. But Boon and Shadowfiend alone are not gonna get me like 12k DPS. They're gonna get me like 7, 8 at most on a pack this size. So like, just keep that in mind. Like, orbs strong, very strong. Monkey together strong. Trust me, like these orbs, don't underestimate them. They will help you carry you through the dungeon if you utilize them properly. Alright. Marauders, now if I remember correctly, we kind of dripped with these Marauders, like for some reason we missed 2 shields in a row or something, like let's see if this is that key. I think it is though, I think it is. We'll see now, we'll see. The best thing you can do is kind of like, if you're not sure that you can kill them both, I would say focusing one is always smart and then doing the other, but yeah, as I said, like look at this, we missed both shields, that's... So these guys should be dead now, they both should be dead, and I said, you know what, F it, I'm popping Kyrian Boon, I'm making sure these guys die, because we missed very little damage, right, and it's not because these guys don't deal damage, it's because I think none of us committed. Like, I think you want to use at least one CD here just to make sure you burst those shields, even on Tyrannical, because why not? Because it's not worth the time loss. Like, these guys should die very quickly. As soon as they use shield, they're dead. Dead meat. Alright, so here, you know, this pack, pretty straightforward pack. There's not really much to do here. As a priest, once again, what you can do if you're feeling extra fancy and you want to help, and you should, is you can shackle. You can shackle one of the guys. I wouldn't recommend shackling warrior though. That is really dumb. I've done it only because he was attacking me. I would recommend shackling a mage because they're the most dangerous one, or the archer if you can't find mage or the mage is already CC'd by some other class. So shackle on that, one of the very few opportunities where shackle on that is very useful in Shadowlands, at least that I've found. If somebody knows any cool other uses of shackle on that, do let me know, because I'm always eager to learn these little tricks, because you know, I believe that as you grow as a player, you know, it all comes down to like learning these little you know, niche things that your class brings, and that makes you like just a little bit a better player. And I do think that ultimately the difference between like a high key pusher player and somebody that just like casually pushes comes down to how well you can utilize your specific class in terms of their utility that they bring. Because I do believe that World of Warcraft is kind of like chess. Sorry, like I'm going kind of philosophical now, but it is kind of like chess if you think about it. Everybody is bringing something to the table, every class and every spec even, and every race. And the more interactions you learn, because this is a complex game, like on surface it's a simple game, but as you get into depth with it, it is a very complex game, and there's a lot of interactions, and some of them work intuitively, some of them don't work as intuitively. And I do believe that because of that, you should learn as many interactions that your spec or class can do, and just utilize that, because why not? Of course, any help you can get will make you a better player, trust me. Like, I mean, or don't trust me, but I do think that the more you know, there's like a lot of power in knowledge. Of course, in World of Warcraft, it's one of those games where you need to be a nerd besides just being skilled. Like, skill alone will not bring you the same results as like understanding stuff will, because sometimes, it's not enough to just be able to press buttons fast. You also need to time them, you also need to understand why you're pressing them, you need to, all of these things, I believe they do make you a much better player. Alright, sorry, I kind of like derailed the conversation there, but yeah. So once again, let's see if I'll shackle here. Yeah, I'm trying to shackle. That's a good play by me, although this time I've shackled. See how I shackled the archer instead of mage? I don't know why I did that. It's always better to shackle mage as far as I'm concerned, but it's not really, it's not really such a big deal. And besides, they broke shackle anyway. Like, I don't even know how they broke it, but they did break it, I think, right? Because he was shackled and then he wasn't, so but he had full HP. Wait, are they healing him? Yeah, they're getting healed. Okay. I didn't even know they are healing. That's weird. I actually never knew they're healing. What? That's interesting. Okay, so basically, as I said, it's worth to shackle there, honestly, especially on Fortified. Like, this pack is actually dangerous on Fortified. On Tyrannical, I would say it's one of the safer ones, as long as you can kill Necromancer fast. Here, the drill, there's gonna be debuffs, there's a consistent AoE dot, there is this little thing getting cast on the floor, just make sure you don't get hit by that. And also I would tell you guys to be very careful of that, because sometimes you can't see when it's getting spawned, and that is very tricky. We have lost keys and have died to the fire guy because the AoE was invisible. You guys gotta understand that Blizzard is a small indie company. They're struggling, guys. Like, their janitors can't learn coding fast enough, and therefore they haven't really fixed the texture on the floors yet. So sometimes the textures in the floors will go underneath and they will be invisible to you, and you might end up dying because of it, and it's very frustrating. You hate to see it, having a good key, doing very well, and then just suddenly somebody dies. Also, I just want to say, because right now it's Grievous week still, Dude, I'm so stressed seeing all these people not being full, because like I'm used now for Grievous, like I'm healing everybody like a maniac and wasting tons of mana, and I'm so stressed like when they're not full now. But yeah, you can see their Volcanic hit me, like I've kind of like let it hit me in a way, like it's probably stupid, I shouldn't do that, because it does cost me like 1 global CD, theoretically, so yeah, probably a waste, don't do that, don't be lazy, move. But it doesn't really do much, as far as I know it deals like, I don't know, like 3-4k damage, it's not really a big deal. But the more importantly, the annoying part is that it kind of like acts as a fucking stagger or something. Oh, I said the F word. Oopsie doopsie. Okay, sorry, I guess we're not PG-13 anymore. Alright. This boss very tricky, I will say. But our damage was pretty crazy here. We did double spear this guy though, on accident. On accident. So we kind of skipped one ad phase, luckily for us, because ad phases are nasty. I think I'm trying to shackle this guy and then I just died. Like that's why sometimes I'm opposed to shackling as a healer. It can get very stressful because like during these moments where
Necrotic breath.
where the ads are up, when you do actually want to shackle, they deal a lot of damage. Don't underestimate the damage the ads deal. Like it's very important to interrupt. Interrupts is very, very important on this boss. These things hurt, especially on Tyrannical, and they will kill somebody, as we have seen. They've just clapped me. It's important. And once again, poor Hunter was forced to res, you know, because he's our only battle res, which is really sad, but yeah, we're working on that, So yeah, I reapply my buffs, you know, get my food buff, get my augment rune, and we proceed on to the next boss, which is, well, not really the next boss, onto the a lot of packs here. And here, honestly, there's not that much for us to do as Discipline Priest. Like, I mean, I said there's not much for us to do. Of course, we heal and stuff and use our CDs. You know, I told you guys the system multiple times. The way I see it and the way I use the system for healing is because Discipline Priest isn't really the best healer outside of their CDs. The way I see it is what you should do. Develop a system where you have designated at least 1 CD per pack if the pack warrants it. Of course, if your packs don't need CDs, then you should either A, pull bigger, or B, you should use them anyway to help with DPS, because some of our CDs also help with DPSing, so yeah. But for example, Shadow Fade, for example, Kyrian boon. And indirectly, pain suppression and dome also help with DPS, because they simply, like, if tank can stand instead of kite, for example, that is helping DPS. Like if you have a frost mage or a hunter, that means the tank won't have to move things out of there, and you know, it just simplifies things. But yeah, just overall play smart, look at your CDs, see how for one pack I'm using one ability, for the other pack I'm using other abilities. Probably gonna rupture this, I'm assuming, or I'm saving rupture for the next pack for whatever reason. I'm actually not sure why I'm doing that. I don't agree with this decision. I think I should have ruptured this just in case. This pack can be nasty sometimes. But I probably thought there's no need, so I just kept going, just dealt as much damage as I can. As you can see, 3k damage, not the greatest, not the worst though, because this is like a no CD pack for us. So we have just dealt 3k damage dryly, like without any CDs, which is pretty good, you know, just your standard Mindseer stuff. And then we proceed, get to these guys, and here we talked a lot about this. I've really like to make a point with Flashcrafter. A very important thing to do here is keep him alive, and the reason why is, you will see now. Look at this, watch the damage, watch the health of the frost guy, minus almost 15% of his HP from one cleaver. So technically this guy will get 3 or 4 casts off before you kill this guy, so he will delete 60% or 45% of the frost guy's health. I talked about this in the previous dungeon as well, I've said it now. please keep this guy alive. Look at how much work he's doing. Look at this. He's murdering Mr. Oros. He's destroying him. It's very... He would have been dead now if we didn't kill him. So we have like our damage profile was a little bit like a lot of cleaving actually. So of course it's not always possible to simply keep him alive, but you know, you shouldn't like make it your #1 priority, but I do think that it has a lot of value, and I think you should do it if possible. I think, and there's no reason not to. I just don't cleave him, don't attack single target. Very important mob to keep alive. You could even pull him to this pack too, if you're feeling spicy enough, in my opinion. Easily you could pull him into Kyrian Stitch Flash and you would deal a lot of damage to him. And just like as long as your tank can tank it, I would recommend it, and I think it would speed up things a lot. Of course, you guys like you don't have to do it if you think it's too hard for you. Of course, then you gotta learn to use cleavers. You gotta position yourself, so it does complicate things a little bit, just a little bit. But I think for players that are trying to time these hierarchies, that's no problem. And if you're not trying to time hierarchies, if you're just timing your weeklies or whatever else you wanna time, there's maybe if you're lacking damage, this could be a good utility for you if you are confident in your positioning, and or if you're not lacking damage at all, then I wouldn't recommend doing it anyway, because if you're not lacking damage, there is no need to risk anything, and you can just kill them to be safe. That's just my opinion. Of course, don't take this as some like holy ladder or whatever. It's just like how I think you could optimize your times a little bit. Every group would benefit from it in my opinion, but you guys do whatever you guys feel comfortable with, and that's the most important part, because no matter how good a strat is, I do think that like you being comfortable with it is potentially the most important thing, because if you're not, then you might get into this like panic mode, and then everything can go south for you, and then you're gonna blame it on the strat, you're gonna blame it on this or that, and you just end up like not learning anything, and I don't think that's the way you should play the game. So yeah, as long as you're feeling comfortable with doing it, you should do it in my opinion. Okay, going next. And there, of course, we actually were very sloppy with that pull in general. You should use cleavers a little bit better and utilize them as your powerful tools to kill those guys faster, but it's not really mandatory. And here we're moving on to the Gore Grind. The Gore Grind is a very tricky guy, because, well, on Tyrannical he's not that bad, of course, because he's not boosted. But he can still, I think, one-shot you with Gut Slice. I'm not really sure if it is a one-shot on 21, but you don't want to get hit anyway, because it will take away like a big chunk of your HP and then leave a nasty dot on you, and that pool is already like full of gore splatter and everything else, so you just want to be careful as much as you can. And I'm not really sure how that ability even works, like, because we've been debating, does he target somebody or does he randomly turn around as he's about to cast it, or what's the deal? I don't know. If somebody knows how his targeting works there, I would love to know. If you guys know, please share your knowledge with me, senpai. I really had a lot of times I've had debate with friends about how it works, and we've presented like a bunch of different theories, but as far as I know, nobody knows for real how it works. He seems to just like randomly turn around in the last second and cast it wherever, but I could be completely wrong and just making a moron out of myself right now, but that is okay. Wouldn't be the first time. Would not be the first time, but yeah. As you can see here, Kyrian Boon, strong CD. I'm still learning to use that CD, by the way. Like, I'm still not optimally using it. There's still a lot more boons I could do throughout the dungeon, which would increase my damage and in turn also increase my healing and speed up things a little bit. I feel like on the heal intensive pulls, Kyrian Boon really like does more bad than good. So I tend to use it only when I'm feeling like I want to be offensive, which is a mistake, because Kyrian Boon can also do a lot of healing. So I just need to kind of get that into my head and sort of learn to kind of utilize it a little bit better. Right, this boss, I'll explain this boss in the simplest way possible, okay? I'll try to keep it real simple. because there's not much to heal if people do mechanics properly. Besides tank, like tank is gonna get smashed and your DPS is gonna get a little bit stinky it up, but that's really, it's not that much. Okay, so there is hook. Hook goes to boss. This is first hook. Second hook will happen as an overlap together with the boss's fixate. What you and your group need to do then is you need to line up. You need to get in line and you need to get behind the boss. See, now I'm in the wrong position. I'm in the wrong position right now. We're all in the wrong position. And we killed the ad before he even got the hook off. That is a mistake. Because one, you get fixation. Second, you don't get free damage on the boss. If you all line up and the boss fixates, then it doesn't matter who he fixates because he's gonna run in a straight line. And the abomination or creation or whatever it's called, he's gonna hit him with a hook. It is very simple. And then if you don't kill creation, as we should have kept creation alive, if you don't kill it, second hook, so third in the boss fight, second since the boss comes down, so that is the third hook, should go to the boss. So this boss never should have went up there in the first place. He should be down right now. And then you just have a rotation. By that time you should probably have killed the boss anyway. So we used a lot of tools here because we messed up a little bit, and we have used the double spear on the second boss. So that was our mistake. So we had to use extra tools here, and we didn't have a lot of tools for the last boss. But we said, you know what? We have a lot of time for the last boss. We're confident in the last boss. We can kill him without tools on time. So we said, F it, we're gonna use all the tools here and just get this boss over with. You saw my positioning there and how he fixated me, and that's why the boss got hooked. If he fixated somebody else who was on the side, that hook would not hit the boss. It would not hit the boss, and we would potentially be having to face with another phase, and you don't want that. Be careful, guys, be careful. If you guys want, like, if you don't understand what I'm saying, if you're confused and this boss is giving you problems, let me know. I'm gonna make a video about it. Like, I'll explain the positioning on that boss. It takes me like literally 50 seconds to explain it in the paint. Just let me know. I think it's pretty obvious, but if somebody like doesn't understand what I'm saying and they have had struggles with that boss, just let me know. I will explain it to you guys. All right. Really not much to say about this boss though. This boss is just like a meat shield on Tyrannical, even on Fortified, a pretty long boss. A lot of HP, gets shield, forces a lot of movement, not very heal intensive, but can be sometimes. So I would suggest don't waste heals, don't waste CDs when there's no need. Even as a disc, usually we want to be like a little bit preemptive with our healing, but I think on this boss specifically, you really don't need to do that. You just need to heal when there is needed, and use the other, like, use your global CDs outside of those like unnecessary heals to deal damage, because you do need to contribute a lot in damage here so far. And as you can see, with Kyrian Boon so far, 2.2k, not really good, but that's because I popped Kyrian Boon at the wrong time, and instead of doing a lot of damage with Nova as well, I was only using blasts because I did it when we were running around. So that's a mistake on my part. I've kind of wasted one of my biggest defensive CDs. Don't be that guy, you know, be a little bit more careful. Also about your DPS, you know, be careful with them as well. Don't give PIs before the guy just pulls out somebody, you know, with Dark Exile. If you see Dark Exile is coming up in the next 20-30 seconds, like, don't be casting your PI on anybody, because if you PI somebody and then they get pulled down, it's a big waste. Like, you will see here, Hunter, I asked him, do you want PI? And I PI'd him. And he's saving Wild Spirits, because he told me, like, no, Exile is coming soon. And as you can see now, yeah, he gets pulled. So luckily he's smarter than I am, at least at dealing damage, you know. I wasn't really thinking about it. I just saw like my PI is off CD. I looked at Hunter, he was like, okay, Wild Spirit's up. But if you really want to optimize, I should not have PI'd him there, PI him there, because he didn't have time to get off Wild Spirits before Dark Exile happened. So, you know, mistake on my part, but not like a fatal one, just like a little bit of suboptimal CD usage, as we talked. You don't want that, to be honest, but it's not the end of the world if it happens. And then I pop another boon, and one more time I pop it at the bad time, and there's a frozen bind happening, so I lose like maybe 3 casts. But it's not that big of a deal, to be honest. It is fine. Just dodge this, be careful, don't be greedy. As I've said, like, try to have, in my opinion, what you can do is you can get atonements on everybody before you know you will need to run. So when you see Comet Storm coming, you have timers, right? So you see Comet Storm coming, 3 seconds. Okay, I cast Radiance. Now everybody has atonements, and all I have to do is penance the boss or cast my Shadow Friend. And if I cast my Shadow Friend will hit the boss, and that damage will heal my friends through the atonement. Amazing. Don't you love being a Disc Priest? These boss fights like this, that have low damage, are basically our bread and butter, in my opinion. This is where we really shine, because we can deal with dispels, we can help with positioning with a Leap of Fate, we can also just deal a lot of damage through just casting smites and penances while moving and stuff like that, and just like chill, calm, control the boss to end the dungeon with almost 5 minutes to spare. Honestly, with a little bit more optimization, I think we could have +2 this dungeon, but I still think we did a fantastic job. As always, guys, thank you for watching, thank you for being here, thank you for supporting my channel. I really do appreciate it, and I mean that. It's not just like, you know, some lousy line to say at the end of the video. I really do appreciate that. It means a lot to me, so keep it going. If you don't mind, leave a comment, tell me what you think about the dungeon. If you like what you're seeing, let me know. If you think I'm trash, let me know. Like if you want to see more content, and I do plan to bring more content to this channel. Do subscribe, I would appreciate it. And stay beautiful, you bastards. Hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye bye.